So what's up, you guys? So I made this video yesterday, but I'm remaking it again today because I also made the road trip video where I, talked about how the Jeep did since I've lifted it and put wheels and tires on it, and I went on a road trip this past weekend. So anyway, this is just going to be me briefly going over, what else do I plan to do to the Jeep? Am I going to do anything else to it? Stuff like that. So there are some maintenance things that I have to do. The water pump, as everybody knows, I have to do that. I'm going to replace the coolant, which I've already started doing. I started replacing it with water, and I kind of need to get on that before it starts getting cold, because it's almost the end of August into September, and this is around when temperatures start to change. So I don't need water in the cooling system and it get below freezing. So we're going to do that. That needs to be done. I'll probably replace the belt because I'm going to be there and take it off anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it. This left rear shock needs to be replaced because it's leaking, so I'll replace both of the rear shocks. I'll probably put some on for a lift just because it is lifted in the rear. It's lifted, I think, right around 2 inches or so, because I do have the Six Monkeys 3-inch front and rear lift, but the rear isn't all completely 3 inches because I don't have all of the shims put in, as I've said before. So that's probably around 2 inches, but that's got to be done. Water pump, the belt. I probably need to do the spark plugs too, because it's about that time. But because this has over 100, what did it say? 114,000 miles, I think is what it said. I can't remember. Yeah, 114, 167. So it's about that time. Coolant needs to be replaced. It's going to be replaced with that purple OAT coolant, that Stellantis, Mopar, whatever you want to call them, is starting to use now. So it'll get replaced with that. I've already started doing that with the water and stuff. I've got as much of the old coolant out as I can. But in the inside, I'm going to go back to the outside, but the inside, I'm probably going to replace these front two not fender liners, the front two floor mats, because ever since new, I've had one of these on both sides be fucked up. They came out of the box like this, and I should have said something about it, but I didn't, because I didn't want to ruin the floor in this, because this does have the carpet mats, but they're not in the Jeep, they're in the house, because I'm not going to use them, so I just took them out. But it's got one of these on both of the floor mats that are like that, so I don't know, I might go with a different company. I've used Husky liners in the past and never had this problem, but then when I get to this Jeep, they're giving me a problem. So I don't know, I must have got some that were made on a Tuesday or a Monday. I don't know, who knows. But also the radio, as you can see here in the top left corner where my finger is, it is delaminating. It's been doing that ever since I've owned it for the past year or so. At first I thought it was a screen protector, and I should have known better than that, because I had the Ram that's on my channel. It had the 8.4-inch screen, and I know how expensive these radios are, because I wanted to replace the one in that truck because it was a 2014 and did not have Apple CarPlay, whereas this one does because it's a 2019. I think 2017 or 2018 is when Stellantis as a whole started putting Apple CarPlay in their vehicles. But anyway, Grand Cherokee owners know that is a common problem. I'm really not going to replace the radio with another radio like this. I'm going to get the Tesla screen radio that goes all the way to the bottom, just because I think that'll look a lot nicer. And plus, those aftermarket radios have a lot more as far as adaptability in the rear for like the speakers and stuff. So I can take that line output converter, I can take that off and get rid of it and stuff like that. So that'll be something that I do. I also want to get the front windows retinted along with the rest of the vehicle, because right now the front two windows, I'm assuming, are 15%. I don't know that for a fact. They might be 20. It came like that when I bought it, so I don't know where they were done or who did them or what the tint is. Probably around 15, because they look like they match the rear. Here in Georgia, the rear of the vehicle can be whatever the fuck you want it to be, as long as it's an SUV or a truck. The cars, everything has to be 32%. SUVs and trucks, the front two windows have to be 32 or higher. The windshield, you can't tint the windshield at all. You can put a strip on it, but it has to be 6 inches from the top. And the strip can be whatever the fuck you want it to be. It can be 5%, which most tint places do it automatically. At least the one that I go to always does it in 5%. But I want the whole thing tinted out completely where you can't see inside it, just because I like having privacy and it just looks nice. As far as the outside, the fog lights, I want to replace the fog lights with the Morimotos just because they're brighter and they probably look a lot better. Headlights, again, I want to replace them either with the one that VLAN sells, or I think Acon sells a set that look pretty nice, and there's a set that Morimoto sells as well. I'm not sure which one I'm going to choose because they are expensive, so kind of got to pick one and stick with it. Taillights, I'll probably replace the taillights too with some, they'll be red just like these, but I'll also they'll be full LED, and then I'll buy some tint to put on them so that they cover up some of it. What else? Nothing else in the back. I do want to try to find the lower pieces and the trim for the fenders and stuff. I want to find all that in white to match. This is just a regular gloss color. It's bright white. That's the color name for this Jeep. And I also want paint match door handles. I don't really like chrome because that's literally a fingerprint magnet and it shows everything. So got to fix that. And something else that I didn't really need to replace, but I'm going to because it's been a problem, is the front two fender liners or wheel well liners, whatever you want to call them. They're a little tore up. You can see right there. This one's not that bad. The passenger side one is the one that looks like it's been through hell and back. As you can see, it's got a big ass hole in it, right? Oh, it's not gonna focus. Right there. And no, before anybody says anything, these tires did not do that. When I had the skid plate and all that stuff off of the bottom, the inside of the fender liner was not bolted down. So while I was driving, the wind would pick it up and push it towards the tire, which caused that, because it was doing that before I put these tires on it. So I need to replace both of the front ones. I don't know how much they are, so I've got to look. I'm sure they're in the hundreds, because why wouldn't they be? Yeah, so they've got to be done. I'm going to put some rock lights on it. So that's another reason why I want to replace these first before I do that, because it doesn't make sense for me to screw them to these fender liners, then replace the fender liners and have to re-put them onto the other ones. So got to do that. I probably should look at them after I make this video, because I haven't looked yet. Let's see, what else? As far as the wheels and tires, I like the tires. Tires will probably stay, so I'll probably buy the same set again. And as far as like if I have another vehicle, if I ever buy another SUV or a truck later on down the road, these will probably be the tires that I purchase, because I'm content with them. I like them. I didn't buy these new. I did buy these slightly used, so I don't know how many miles are actually on them right now, but I know I've put over 300 or 400 miles on them so far and have no complaints. They're not loud. They look really nice. That's pretty much it. The wheels, though, I kind of want to go up another 2 sizes. So these are 20s. I want to put 22s on it. Preferably a chrome wheel. I don't know what kind yet. Something that doesn't have a lot of spokes. Like, I like these because they're very simple. They're easy to clean. I don't like wheels that have a lot of spokes because they're really a pain in the ass and just too complicated, too busy. These are nice and simple. They're a 5-spoke wheel and they're easy, like I said, to clean and stuff like that. But I want chrome just because the chrome looks nice, and especially when I put the rock lights on it. I'm not putting wheel lights on it because that's a little too much, but I'll put rock lights on it, and then when they light up behind the wheel, it'll just look really good in my opinion. But that'll be a while before that happens. But yeah, so it'll get wheel lights, it'll get new front fender liners, it'll get the shock replaced, water pump, spark plugs. The other stuff, some of the stuff's going to be, kind of, maybe it might, go back and forth with it. Because, I went back and forth with doing anything to this anyway. So it's taking me this long to work on it, and I usually don't take this long to work on something. I would have already modified this to this point if I liked it that much. I just don't like it as much as everything else I've had. If it was a Hemi, I'd like it a little bit more, but it is what it is. Nobody made me purchase it, so I can't really complain too much. And I could just not have a vehicle at all. It could be like that, but I'm happy for what I got, because at least I got something. So yeah, it'll be progress. It'll take some time, and I do want to put an intake on this car, on this Jeep. I was gonna say truck, and it's not a fucking truck. I'm gonna buy probably the AFE cold air intake, and the cold air intake that I want is enclosed. It's not open, because people still don't seem to understand that if you buy a cold air intake, you're buying one that's got the open air filter that looks stupid, and all you're doing is sucking in hot ass air from the engine bay, and that's not doing anything for you. Am I expecting 600 horsepower? No, not really. I'm not going to modify this V6 like that. If I wanted a Trackhawk, I'd just go try to buy a Trackhawk. That doesn't really make any sense to me. But I'm not going to do that. I'm not expecting high horsepower goals. I'm not buying it. To break some speed records, and I'm not buying it just because they sound cool. I don't give a shit what the sound is. It's just the intake that's on this looks goofy. It's got a whole bunch of shit on it that isn't necessary. So I'm going to put another one on it, and we'll call it a day. I'm not going to get it tuned just because I put a cold air intake on it. That's ignorant too. Yeah, and I'm not going to re-gear the rear end. I'm not going to do none of that shit. So what you see is pretty much how it will look, unless something else changes. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see y'all later.